Kemi Badenoch.
Mr. Speaker, the end of the answer was different from the beginning of the answer. What on earth is the point of us having a lawyer rather than a leader as the Prime Minister if he can't even get the law right on a matter of national...
All right, everyone, you kettle on, biscuits at the ready, because today's political showdown was something else. If politics were a sport, this would have been the Wimbledon finals. Tea was spilled, tempers flared, and someone somewhere definitely needed a hug and a digestive afterwards. What we just witnessed was rare, a Commons confrontation so clean, so calculated, it could qualify as minor surgery. And at the center of this verbal storm? None other than MP Kemi Badenoch, who clearly decided she'd had enough of polite back-and-forths and went full courtroom drama. Think Perry Mason, just with sharper British etiquette and fewer objections. Before we dive into this parliamentary spectacle, quick favor, if you're enjoying videos like this, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's get back into it. The session began, as many do, on a solemn note. Mr. Speaker, she started, marking 4 years since the tragic murder of Sir David Amess, a moment of genuine reflection across the House. A reminder that behind the chaos of politics, there's real humanity. But after that, the gloves came off. Because today wasn't about decorum, it was about accountability. A major espionage case, one that accused 2 people of spying on MPs, had just collapsed. And that, as Kemi pointed out, is not just embarrassing. It's alarming. And when the Prime Minister shuffled to the dispatch box to explain himself, his statement, let's say, didn't exactly put the issue to rest. I don't know what they're laughing at, Kemi shot back. We're talking about the security of this parliament. Her tone said it all, this wasn't politics as usual. She accused the PM of having to be dragged out to make a statement that barely answered a single question. According to her, it was absurd, unbelievable, even that the government could fail to present the necessary evidence to the CPS for prosecution, especially when, as she reminded everyone, China had already been classified as a state-based threat years ago. And then came the receipts. Kemi reminded the Prime Minister and the House that in 2021, the UK's own integrated review had labelled China the single biggest state threat to Britain's economic security. In 2024, the Minister for Security said exactly the same thing from that very bench. And if that wasn't enough, the head of MI5 had already sounded the alarm in 2022. So why, she demanded, did the government fail to back the case when it mattered most? That's when she dropped the detail everyone in the chamber suddenly leaned in for. The key witness statement was submitted in 2023, under the previous government. The evidence was there. The prosecution had it. Yet the case still collapsed under the current government's watch. The PM, looking increasingly uncomfortable, dodged. He tried to draw a neat line between what the last government had done and what his government inherited. But as Kemi pointed out, that doesn't quite work when the policies and the people overlap. She wasn't done yet. She quoted the former Foreign Secretary's 2022 speech, where he called it unwise to label China a threat. Then she read out the Prime Minister's own past comments, back when he was in the opposition, where he said, "We should certainly not be describing China as a foe." Check the dictionary, she quipped, and the House murmured. The Prime Minister pushed back, accusing her of playing politics with national security. She calmly replied that the government itself had charged those spies under a Conservative administration, but they were freed under Labour. The PM insisted yes, no ministers, no special advisors were involved. Just one man. Kemi, incredulous, fired back, "So you expect us to believe that one civil servant handled a national security case of this magnitude alone without even informing the Home Secretary or Number 10? The PM doubled down. "I'll double-check," he said, before launching into another long explanation that boiled down to, it wasn't us. It was them. It was the kind of answer that sounded more like a playground defense than a national security statement. But it didn't end there. She moved on to the next mystery, a secret meeting. According to reports, the National Security Advisor, Jonathan Powell, had held a private meeting about the spy case. Kemi asked directly, "Did that happen, or is the Sunday Times lying?" The PM admitted there was a meeting but said it didn't involve the evidence. He dismissed it as a red herring, a completely scurrilous allegation, he called it. By now, the chamber was electric. You could feel the tension even through the TV screens. Kem wasn't giving an inch. She asked the most crucial question yet: if the CPS was satisfied in April that the charges were sound, then what changed by the time the case fell apart? That's the million-pound question, isn't it? The Prime Minister promised transparency, that he'd publish the witness statements soon, once the usual clearances were done. But Kem wasn't impressed. She wanted everything: the statements, the minutes, the emails, the correspondence with the CPS. Because, as she said, this whole thing stinks of a cover-up. Then came the blow that had every journalist scribbling. Why should we trust a man, she asked, who last week said he had full confidence in the best friend of a convicted pedophile? Oof. You could almost hear the oxygen leave the room. She closed with a final, devastating line: if the Prime Minister cannot protect members of this House, what does that say about his ability to protect this country? And there it was, the knockout punch. Now, PMQ's, Prime Minister's questions, is usually a choreographed dance. Question, deflection, applause, repeat. But this one? This one felt like live theater. It started with respect and ended with a political demolition job, all delivered in that understated British way that somehow makes every jab sting harder. Kemi Badenoch didn't just ask questions, she constructed a narrative, step by step, until the whole thing resembled a courtroom cross-examination. Evidence, contradictions, timelines, motive all laid out for the public to see. And the PM? Well, let's just say he looked like he wished the Speaker would suddenly call an early recess. Whether you agree with her politics or not, you've got to admit this was a masterclass in parliamentary precision. Calm, composed, but utterly cutting. And it leaves us with a question that's much bigger than party politics: if this government can't manage its own intelligence briefings without confusion and contradiction, how safe is anyone supposed to feel about national security? Because at the end of the day, as Kem put it, if they can't protect their own MPs, how on earth can they protect the country? So, there you have it, a PMQs that felt less like a debate and more like a courtroom drama, complete with tension, twists, and one-liners sharp enough to slice through steel. No shouting, no chaos, just surgical precision and a quiet sense that something very big just cracked in the middle of Westminster. And that, my friends, is why you never underestimate a well-prepared MP with a folder full of facts and nerves of steel. Now, someone pass the popcorn, because this political saga is far from over. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more in-depth political commentary, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of power and politics. Thanks for watching.